Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, Turntable Tuesday with Thom. And this week we mark a solemn anniversary of the passing of a legendary actor, comedian, slash musician, none other than the Joliet Jake Blues. And, of course, one of the two founding members of the Blues Brothers. Now, people who know me, they don't ever want to watch the Blues Brothers movie with me because I'm one of those guys that recites every line in it. I know it like the back of my hand, and where'd that come from? But anyhow, we're going to talk about the album today, Briefcase Full of Blues. And that solemn anniversary I'm talking about is this Thursday marks the 40th anniversary. I know it's hard to believe, some of you young folks like me, of the overdose death of John Belushi. And of course, John is known for a lot of things. National Lampoon's Animal House, and the Blues Brothers, right? Trust me, there's many more. I used to love his thing that he did on Saturday Night Live, the Samurai, with Buck Henry. He had this one called Samurai Taylor. If you haven't seen any of the Samurai routines that he did on the SNL days, Samurai Taylor's definitely the one that you want to see. But anyhow, the Blues Brothers, it's an interesting story. 1976, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, they do this skit where they're dressed up as killer bees, and there was sort of a recurring killer bee set as part of the SNL show with the original cast, minus Chevy Chase, who left after the first year. But anyhow, so Aykroyd and Belushi, they dress up as the Killer Bees, and they sing I'm a King Bee, which is this traditional blues song. And that was in 1976. Evidently, it went over well. They create these personas of blues singers. There's one guy named Curtis Delgado who John Belushi modeled some of his stylings on. The hats, the glasses, they kind of borrowed from other people. Dan Aykroyd, who grew up in Canada, cited the Down Child Blues Band as one of the main models, but again, they drew from a lot of influences. In fact, there's actually 3 songs from the Down Child Blues Band on Briefcase Full of Blues. So if you want to look for the originals, you can do that. Now, in all seriousness, funny guys, and the movie's hilarious. But this album is seriously incredible music. And the band that they had was just off the charts. So you got Paul Schaefer, who, of course, was the musical director of SNL at the time, went on to work with David Letterman for many years. But let's go through some of the other guys that are on here. Steve the Colonel Cropper and Donald Duck Dunn. Now, Dunn and Cropper were with Booker T and the MGs. Incredible players. Dunn, I remember seeing with Eric Clapton on the Behind the Sun tour. I mean, as far as a guy who could hold down the bottom end, Donald Dunn was incredible. Matt Guitar Murphy, he was just kind of a journeyman guitarist. I've got some blues albums that he's on with James Cotton, for example. And Matt actually played at a club that I worked at called Red Creek. And I really wanted to meet him because I was a huge fan of Blues Brothers movie, and I was super starstruck and never got a chance to talk to him alone until he left his guitar at the venue and called, and I answered the phone. He's like, hey, did I leave a guitar there? I was like, yeah. And so he came back to get it himself, and we literally just hung out and talked about the Blues Brothers movie for, I don't know, an hour or something. But super nice guy, I got to say. Now it's an ego. Great player as well. You got Blue Lou Marini, Alan Rubin, Tom Scott. Tom Scott did a bunch of solo work as well. Tom Bones Malone. And the guy on drums, Steve Jordan, he was in Letterman's band for a little while at the beginning too. Just an incredible drummer. I think that's one of the things that really stands out on this record is just how well he's playing drums. But this band, I mean, almost anybody could perform with them and sound great. But you got to give a lot of credit to Belushi and Aykroyd. Belushi in particular, his vocal performance was incredible. Now, this is recorded at the Universal Amphitheater live in Los Angeles for a live recording. Again, it sounds pretty amazing. And, it's funny when people talk about favorite live albums of all time, this isn't one that necessarily comes up in the conversation, but it should. They were opening up for, of all people, Steve Martin. And, of course, we know Steve Martin had a pretty tight connection to the SNL guys. And then later in 78, they opened up for the Grateful Dead at the last show at Winterland. Crazy Belushi hops on stage, I guess, and sings U.S. Blues with them for the encore. The band was okay with it, except for, I guess, Phil Lesh was a little bit put off. Like, he doesn't like random people jumping on stage with him. Who could blame you? I don't blame you, Phil. I don't like random people jumping on stage with me either. Album goes on to sell double platinum. They come out with a couple more. They had the movie soundtrack and then an album called Made in America, and then later their final record with the original group, which didn't really sell that well, but if you find it, the best of the Blues Brothers. I mean, by the time this comes out, they've been together for 2 years. They got 3 albums. Best of, really? I don't know. You wonder why that thing didn't sell? And then, unfortunately, by 1982, John Belushi has passed away. Now, Dan Aykroyd's gone on. He's made an additional Blues Brothers movie. He's done some other stuff with the Blues Brothers, but let's be honest, none of it's been that great. I mean, it has been awful. In fact, I did manage to, I did get an opportunity to see the Blues Brothers at SARS Stock in the early 2000s. But, without John Belushi, it's like Rolling Stones without Mick Jagger. Imagine if Keith Richards had to do all the lead vocals. It'd be okay, but no, it wouldn't. Who am I kidding? Anyhow, that's all I got. If you got any memories of the Blues Brothers, this is a pretty pristine copy. I think first time I heard it, by the way, it was my sister Kathleen. If she actually made it this far in the video, she can comment in the comment section if that is in fact the case. If not, no worries. But anyhow, thanks as always. Please like, share, hug somebody today, would you? The Blues Brothers, John Belushi, rest in peace.